How's it going, everybody? I guess I don't really lost the fuzzy thing to my mic. I'm sure it's around somewhere. All right, I don't really need it. Welcome to the party, everybody. So it's nice to have a day of ice fishing where you can get out here before, or later in the day when it's like 6 o'clock. All right, so on the rod to my right, I'm gonna be throwing down this little tungsten bug. Apparently, my neighbor here in the hut right next to me said that he was catching all kinds of perch. How's it going, Rob? And it looks like we got some fish down there already. So, just gonna get that down there. Start with that and then work up to other lures as we get a little closer to sunset. Try to get in some wallies. On the other side, we're going to be throwing down. Sorry, is that the bottom yet? The other side, we're going to be throwing down a live minnow on a spoon, on a. Whoa! Here we go. Like we got some perch on here already. Yeah, first fish. Perch on. It's a little guy. I mean, I give him 7 inches or so. Nothing crazy. Oh, there we go. Sorry, buddy. That didn't take long. It looks like there's a bunch of fish down there, so I got more on the radar. So this is a good start. So let's see if I can get some more on the bug. I better drop down this other line while I'm here. No time for chatting today. Gotta get right into it, apparently. That's okay. Okay. Got the little bug down there. We got the live bait. There's a whole bunch of fish on the radar down there. Hold on a second here. Oh, I'm getting bites. Sneaky. They're biting as soon as I put it down. And they knew I was fiddling with the other rod. Isn't that always the way? Yeah, so my neighbor Terry there said he was having trouble keeping minnows on his hook because they were eating all his bait on him. So I actually ran into him in Billy Bob's Baits there. And he said that he was looking for some spoons or whatnot to try to imitate shiners so he didn't have to blow through so many minnows. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now the perch doesn't feel big, but fish is good. So I just got this little tungsten, there he is, tungsten bug. It seems to be catching their attention. It seems like when I'm twitching it, they don't want to do much to it, but then as soon as I let it sit for a second, they're all over it. So we're off to a great start here so far. Not going to complain about that. Seems like the bite that Terry was telling me about yesterday is still going on. All right. Let's see if we can see some more action here. You can see hopefully you can see my lure down there. So far, nothing on the dead stick on the other side. Maybe I'm just going to turn down the brightness on this because I think that helps you guys a bit. Turn down that backlight a bit. So here we are coming down to the end of the season, eh? I'm already planning to visit a few splake lakes or whatnot. We'll see if that pans out. I took my son last year and we caught a few like super micro guys. That's what I like to hear, Rob. You'll have to send me a picture of that fish if you happen to get a picture with you in the sweater and the fish at the same time. Or just a picture of the fish if that's good. Jeff, I'm using this rod is actually, I believe it's a medium rod, or maybe it might even be a medium heavy. And the reel is this Fluger President. I'm not sure. I know they make these in all sizes. I'm not sure which one this is, but it's a pretty small reel anyway. Good for ice fishing style. All right. Looks like I'm seeing more action down there, but see if they're gonna bite. You know, the other day I was fishing with my brother and my son out in a hut nearby here, and there were just about 15 feet down in 8 feet of water, or 18 feet of water. There were just tons of marks coming through, and I figured they're herring. And it's funny because I've seen herring on my camera before, and they a lot of times will just cruise in, never hit anything, just in and out in a big hurry. So I was really hoping these ones I was seeing would be biting, but I couldn't get them to bite anything. How's it going, Ken? Welcome to the party. So far, it started off good with a couple of perch biting. Put my rod right down there for a second. That seems to be when they want to bite it. Let me just check this other rod. I think, yeah, that's actually my other rod on the radar there. It's got a big spoon on it, so it's much bigger than the lure I got on my main rod here. Even though this little bug seems to be working for me, I might put on something a little noisier because I can't resist. Let me see. I'm gonna put on a rattler, and I might, in the next few minutes, switch my dead stick to a more low-key setup. And by that I mean right now it's like a big spoon with a minnow on it, and I might switch it to something like a jig head, or I know what I'll do. There they go. I got a couple of these funny heads I'll show you in a second. So let me change up my lure. I'll keep that tungsten bug out. I actually got some of these Simcoe bugs too. And the one thing I'm gonna say right out, okay, is that these tungsten bugs are really expensive. Like, really expensive. And I'm sure they're put together in a cool way, but I was just like, wow, that's makes me want to tie some up for myself, because I used to do fly tying, like for fun, nothing too serious. I did fly fish on and off here and there, but I took up tying flies, and that was actually quite fun. And I feel like I could make my own Simcoe bugs for, very low, very low cost. Okay, it looks like we're definitely seeing some action down there. You can see a couple of those bars there are actually my lures. Let me show you this one lure here that I'm telling you about. Let's see. I'm sure you guys have seen this kind of thing. This isn't the Simcoe bug, by the way. It's like this ball with an eye on it, okay? And then a treble hook. And I'm going to fire one of these on. I think I might put it on my dead stick. Just, enough to keep the minnow down, but still got that treble. This is made by North Bay Tackle Supply there. So I'm going to give that a shot. And let me show you this Simcoe bug. I swear this thing cost me, I don't know, it cost me about, it had to be like $12 or something. There you go. Simcoe bug. So it's a big tungsten bead on the front, and then it's a hook, and then it looks, it's made to look like some kind of a bug, no doubt. Will it produce? The good thing is I don't often lose too many lures when I'm ice fishing, so I think it should be good. I also got this lure, which I'd never seen before, and I am kind of a sucker for things I've never seen before that look nifty. So this little jig head here has this spinner on it. It came in a pack of 4 or 5, something like that. So anyway, I put this plastic on it. See how that works out. All right. So back to fishing. Jeff, you're heading back to Calendar Bay on the 13th. That sounds like a good time. I'm actually having my dad up to visit me for a few days. And we're going to be fishing. It's going to be fun. I don't think he's watching right now, but he might be. Yeah, Rob, I went to Calendar today. I was going to take my drone out and fly it around all those huts to get a good look at it. And it was just a little windy, I think. I guess I'm a little going easy on my drone. Last time I went and it was windy, it sort of didn't work out so well. Sorry. Oh, yeah. It was really shaky. So I was going to take some video of Calendar, but no luck. Brian Nichols, how's the fishing been this year compared to other years? I feel like there's more perch here this year than last year. But my brother and I were reminiscing on the times when there were so many perch out here you couldn't even use 2 rods. You had to just use one. Because they were biting so hard and so fast. And I don't know if I've seen it like that in a few years. I'm not sure what that's about. But let's hope it's on the pickup, I'm sure it's a cyclical thing. The walleyes started off pretty good, but they've been kind of quiet for a little bit now. WH, how was my trip? Well, here's the funny thing about that trip. So my brother and I got down the access road as far as we could go, And on the other side, as soon as we got there, there was a dude that was stuck in the snow on the other side of these train tracks. So we had to help him out, righteously, because he was kind of in a pickle. And then as soon as we got him out, another guy comes shooting down the road, shoots right across the tracks, gets stuck in the exact same spot. So we helped him get out too, but it wasn't as difficult. He wasn't as jammed in there. So after that, we finally got on my brother's snowmobile, and we got out there, and we got to the lake, and it was okay. The tracks were a little rough, but there was definitely a trail we could follow. But it was really, really rough on the tracks. And at one point, my brother was just like, hey, let's go off the tracks for a second and see if we can sort of forge our own path. And that's when we really got a feel for how much slush was on the lake. And it was a lot. And we got stuck. And we probably spent 2 or 3 hours getting ourselves out of that slush. And so we basically watched the sunset. Sunset from our while we were on the lake, watching the sun go down while we struggled to get his snowmobile out. So it was rough. And then we finally got his hut set up, and we basically by that point we were so tired that we just set up the hut. We didn't even drill holes in the hut, because sort of where we had to set up the hut was more out of necessity, than it was out of like whether or not it was the best fishing spot. And it turns out it was like 1.5 meters of water, and we had intended to set up over about 40, but there was so much slush all around everywhere that you couldn't really get anywhere easily, and the sun was going down fast. So we set up where we could set up, and then we just tried to get enough wood, because my brother had a wood stove inside his ice tent. If you're on my Instagram, I put up a picture of that. And yeah, we spent the night in there. And it was kind of funny, because at one point in the night, these other snowmobilers came by. And the way the guy was talking to me, it was funny. He must have thought I was just absolutely nuts, because he was just like, he's like, are you all right? Because we were just setting up to camp for the night, right? And it was probably about -15. And he's like, are you all right? Do you know where you are? Are you aware that the landing to the lake is just around the corner? And then he was like, do you have a phone? I said yes, gave him my phone number. I took down his phone number. He's like, if you need me to bring you wood or food, or you need to stay somewhere where you won't freeze to death, I have a cottage over here. I guess he probably doesn't see a lot of ice tent campers out his way. Because I think me and my brother kind of looked like we were absolutely off our rocker. So anyway, we only really got to put in about an hour and a half of fishing, and we fished like 100 meters from where we set up our camp, and there was a rock face there, but it was only about 20 feet deep. But strangely enough, we were marking fish on the radar, and my brother caught about a 3-pound lake trout. 2 or 3 pounds, nothing huge, but a nice eating size lake trout. But we were only out there for like an hour and a half, and then we had to go. And when you bring all that stuff, having to go involves a whole lot of packing up and stuff like that. So it was a bit of a process. Fun though. Like I was disappointed that we didn't get up the lake very far, and we didn't get Yeah, we didn't get up the lake very far. We didn't get to where we had planned to go, and the slush was just ridiculous. In addition to the slush that we were stuck in, that same slush, the next day when we were all ready to get going, it froze up my brother's tracks really bad and caused us, just a little bit more problems or a little bit more trouble as we had to try to chip off a lot of the ice that was all over my brother's tracks there. So that was fun. Yeah, Jeff, I find that fly tying, it's really neat to see how, when you watch YouTube videos or whatnot, how people pull off making these flies look like real bugs with just, all these natural materials. It's amazing. But a lot of the flies that I've tied that have worked the best have basically just been like a golden bead with a blob of marabou feathers to make it just look like a little black bug. And I got all sorts of fish on that particular fly. So WH, you said you bought some of these Simcoe bugs, eh? So they work. Are you mostly use them for perch? Sup, Ridge Lake 101. Welcome to the party. Calendar Bay is producing, eh? Yeah, I feel like I'm not catching buckets of perch this year, but I definitely have gotten some big ones coming in. That's what I like to see. But definitely enough to have a few meals, that's for sure. Ridge Lake 101, we are fishing for mostly walleye and perch, although I'll take anything. I will accept any fish. I don't think I shared on my Instagram yet. My son and I caught a pike a couple Fridays back that was just covered in black spots, like tons of black spots. Yeah, so many black spots on that pike. And a lot of times with those black spot illnesses, and if you watch my parasites video, the animation I did, it'll tell you all about what those are. Those the black spot, it's always on the outside of the fish, so you can see it out there, or generally it is. Excuse me. But then when you get to the inside of the fish, those same black spots are in there, but they're like right in the body, like right in the flesh, and it's pretty disturbing, actually. Actually, the thing is once you cook them, like, they're fine to eat. Some people might not want to eat any of those parasited fish, but when you do cook up a black spot fish, the black spots are all inside the flesh and they are actually hard. And so when you go to chew down on them, it feels like you're biting into a piece of sand or something, or a rock. All right, I'm throwing down the old vibrato. Let's get her in there. See, I'm not sure about how lively my minnow is on the other side, and I do have livelier minnows, so I might just switch it up. Why not? But I'll rock this vibrato for a minute here and then switch it up. I gave sort of short notice on this broadcast. I actually got a call from my son's daycare. I was all ready to get out here at about 3. Got a call from my son's daycare, said he was blowing chunks and had a fever. So I raced into town to get him there, and I thought I was going to have to cancel. And then my wife showed up at home, and I was like, oh, I guess I can go and do the live broadcast now. And actually, my son, like they said, he was sick, but he was racing around like anything. He even wanted to go ice fishing, but I'm going to take him tomorrow. Check the messages here. Oh, looks like you got a fish down there. Bite it. Bite it. Come on, fish. Just trying to stir up the bottom of it here. Huh. Maybe he's going over to my dead stick over here. So it looks like I'm going to have to turn on a light in a minute here. Yeah, I have yet to lose a phone or anything down the hole, but I've definitely seen it. I think there was a guy last year who actually cut a big hole in the ice to get his phone. I think it was a TikTok sensation of some sort. Okay, so I'm gonna switch up my dead stick to a livelier minnow, but I'm also not gonna let go of this not as lively minnow. And I'm also gonna get a light going here. I sometimes find you put one of the minnow chunks on the lure, or a minnow head, whatever. All right. Looks like I got some real lively minnows now. My son was sort of stirring them up a lot the other day, so they got a little roughed up, I think, before I realized what was going on. Okay, so got a lively minnow on here, on that bead head, or eyeball head, or whatever they call these things. Oops. So I'm not actually putting this on the trigger mechanism per se, but I'm just I might have a bell in my pocket actually. I'll put a bell on it for fun. So I've got to thank Ray again today for letting me use his hut. Always appreciated. All right, bell's on. And go through the messages here. I've got some dinner bells ready to go there, Darren. Thanks for showing up, buddy. So Jeff, what is a Phil coffee? Is that? Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I've had fish that have really gone for live minnows. I've also had them really hit salted dead minnows hard sometimes. But the charm of a live minnow is definitely that it provides its own action, you know? You don't have to worry too much about it. You just let it do its thing. This minnow is actually ringing my bell a little bit here. So Darren, were you out in Calendar recently? Fishing out that way? I apologize for having a sniffly nose here. I should have really got myself some Kleenexes. Let me check my pockets. Yes, I'm in luck. Excuse me. All right, back in the game here. So I think I've got some extra lights here. Let's see how much I need to light this place up. There we go. Yeah, I definitely enjoy the bells. My only problem with the bells is when I'm trying to get them off the rod or when the fish is really shaking them, like when I'm trying to reel it up. Then I like to try to get the bells off. I used to, when I lived in Toronto there, me and the boys used to go down to a few places under bridges and whatnot and try to catch mudcats. Well, really anything. But we just sit under a bridge and put the bells on our line, throw a bottom rig down with a worm, hope for the best. We usually caught mudcats anyway, sometimes rock bass and stuff. And of course, gobies. We're lucky enough to not have gobies up here yet. Nick Bruce, how's it going? The very beginning of this video, we had 2 perch within a very short time period, but it seems like the perch have relaxed. They're on a siesta. So hopefully we see some more before this video is done. So, Darren, by comparison, how many people do you think, this is just me ringing the bell and tipping my line, how many people you think are in Calendar compared to Sunset Point? Because I know Sunset Point is also a busy location. And I have fished out there, but I've never like just driven there and walked out or anything. And what's the structure like out there, and how deep is it? Lawrence. So you like the small treble hook and a split shot, eh? And with jaw jackers. Do you fish? Do you like to fish a lure at all, or do you just stick to that kind of setup? We did, Jeff. I'm trying to think if we fished on the Don or we just talked about it. Oh, looks like I got a little. Come on, bite it. Bite it, bite it. Ah, he tapped it. He tapped it. Ah. He's still down there. Take a shot. Oh. Ah. This guy's coming at all angles here. Ooh. Shoot. Sorry, everybody. Got a fish here. Okay. Doesn't feel big. It's not a bad sized perch, actually. Big belly on it. So that guy came over to my lure, took a shot at it, and then decided he was going to go for the live bait, I think. Come on. Well, that's a nice sized perch. Big belly on it. I don't know if I'm going to keep any today because I've got a bunch of my on my porch I need to eat, to be honest with you. All right, so we're going to throw this minnow back down. You know, on my TikTok, some guy commented, he's like, I don't get why he referred to me as a grown-ass man, would care about catching, quote-unquote, in his words, junk fish like perch. He was like, they're okay for kids, to learn on, but why would an adult like catching perch? I just said I like catching everything. The answer is simple. I like catching everything. It's like, sure, I'd like to catch all sorts of other big fish and whatnot, but I'm not going to get sad about catching a perch. It's like, there's some fish down here. The school's in. Oh, bell's ringing a little bit. I'm thinking on my lure side, I need to downsize. Oh, got another bump here. Watch that bump be them stealing my minnow. Just gonna check because. Oh. If they're not kissing one rod, they're kissing the other one. Oh, minnow's still on. So I would say, and I will be checking the chat again once I get a second. I'm going to put on that crazy spin lure that I was showing you for fun. What's that thing? Oh, there it goes. Oops. Oop. Okay, I'm just going to hold this rod for a second. Okay, I'm going to put it down for a second. And I'm going to switch this other. So it seems like there's perch down there. So I'm just going to put a little, I like these vibratos for perch, and I found that they'll go for any of the sizes when they're really on the feed, even the big ones. However, I'm going to try something small. This little spinny jig. Hopefully that'll get their attention. I'm feeling that. I'm just trying to try out my new lures here. Darren, I know you were talking about me putting on the dinner bell, and I am in agreement that I will be doing that. But I got these new lures I got to try out too today. I bet you they stole my minnow that time. Oh. See, I feel like there's a guy sitting on the bottom down there. All right. Oh, yeah, there he is. Come on. There isn't enough. Okay, so I'm going to check my minnow here. See if it's still on. Oh, minnow's still on. Send it back down. Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying there, my friends and I had talked about fishing in the dawn because I think some of my friends actually moved out to that part of town. But we did fish in the Credit River and we did fish in the Humber River. And the Humber River became pretty good once I figured out how to catch carp. But I also caught like trout out of there. My buddy caught a decent walleye out of there once. And there was bass and stuff like that too, but mostly mudfish like carp, you know? And mudcats. Can't forget the mudcats. So we've got a fish at 12 up here. So I'm just gonna send my line up there and hope the best. Oh. How far out do you got to go, Darren, to get to 20 feet plus? So you got a fish down here. Come on. So I just have a plastic on this lure, but I also brought out some of my salty baits, which sometimes when the perch are finicky, they'll go for one of, it's just like a chunk of a salted minnow. I seem to like that for some reason. And I flavor it with teriyaki. I think these ones are teriyaki flavored. Sometimes I put coffee on them or garlic. They smell pretty delicious, actually. That's a good story, Jeff, about the bill. Every bump, huh? Yeah, perch are delicious. And as well, Nipissing perch, there's some real big ones out here. They're nothing to frown about, I feel. Come on, let's go for 5 more perch before this is done. Ken, who's saying that the minnows will be gone by the weekend? I went to the Arrowhead gas bar to get some minnows, and they were already out there. And I was actually at Billy Bob's. And I thought to myself, I should grab some minnows here. And then I thought, I should see how my minnow supply is. But if I knew there was going to be a shortage, I would have grabbed some minnows. All right, I'm gonna try an alternative lure here. Let's see what I got. Terry, welcome to the party. Going out for 3 days, eh? All right, out comes the golden dinner bell. I guess stalking minnows is a tough game, because as soon as the ice fishing season's done for guys who are right on Nipissing, I bet the amount of people buying minnows is gonna drastically dump. So, you gotta really time things well. You don't want to be stuck holding a bucket of minnows and nobody's buying minnows anymore, So I'm gonna put a teriyaki minnow head on this one. My dinner bell. I put some flavor out there. So that looks like this. So there's the dinner bell there. And it's got the flavorful minnow head. I don't know if it's going to continue to be perch biting, but on the other rod I got the minnow, live minnow. I think somebody's showing up at the bottom down there, right in time for my lure to bonk him on the head. Okay. Oh, he's looking. I'm just going to keep it real still for a second. Watching the rod tip. Oh, he disappeared. No, he's back. Gonna try to make him rise for it. Come on. Ooh, there we go. Nice. So it feels like a good size jumbo. Or is it gonna be? Yeah, it's good size jumbo. That's a good one. Guy's probably at least a 10. Ooh, that's your bell ring. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Just need to. So he liked my teriyaki minnow. There you go. Yeah. I got a better hold on this guy. Yeah. It's a nice size perch. Yeah, I give it a 9 or a 10. Let's see what happened to my salted minnow. Oop, sorry, that was me, I think. Or was it? Okay. Getting my salted minnow head back on there. Okay. Going back down. Yeah. Not saying these salted minnow heads are the bomb, but I can tell you that I've caught lots of perch on them. And they're easy to make. If you have minnows that have died, you just coat them in salt and put them in a strainer for a day. And they sort of, guess you'd say they lose a bunch of juice. The salt pulls a lot of juice out of them. So it looks like my setup here got a little jigged around. Let me see. Okay, that's better. There we go. Yeah, actually, I had a neighbor who lived downstairs from me who he used to like eating the fish eggs, the perch eggs. He said he'd make a soup with them. So I would have a whole bunch of them and I would just save them for him. He actually was pretty hyped about it. So I guess he must have made a pretty good soup with them. Every time I'd hand him a sack of perch eggs, he'd be like, yum, and I'd be like, ugh. I feel like my salted minnow came out here. Uh-huh. See, I felt some kind of a weight. And I feel like it was a perch stealing my salted minnow. All right, put on another chunk here. Yeah, the downside to using these salted minnow chunks is you gotta, I usually use pliers or whatnot to handle the chunks because they tend to leave a lot of juice around, the kind of juice that you probably don't want all over your pants or on anything you own. So I usually put the minnow chunks on with a pair of pliers, something like that. I still feel like this thing is active on here. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Sorry, it looked like my lure disappeared for a second there off my radar, but it seems to be working now. I feel like on my live bait side here that I should definitely check my minnow. Oh, minnow's still on. Put that back down. Fix my bell. So, according to my neighbor Terry, said that he caught a bunch of walleye last night. It seems like he was telling me about the perch, and then he said that he caught a few 5 walleye, I think. We haven't seen them yet. Huh. Toss them in fish crisp, eh? It seems like a way. Yeah, like I said, my neighbor there, he used to put them in a soup. I don't know what the soup was like, but I can imagine that the eggs would be like I've eaten a lot of sushi in my days, so I got an idea about what a fish egg would feel like between the teeth. But yeah, I wonder if in a soup form if they would stay like crunchy in the same way. Whenever you guys see a fish coming on the radar and it's like in this case, I got one that's right below the ice, 4 feet down. You guys ever try to catch it? I usually will run my lure past it just to see. I don't even know if it's legit a fish or just some sort of error. But you'd hate to miss out. When I had that spotty pike on the other day, I lost it at the hole. And then I dropped my lure back down within 5 seconds. Less than that. He's back on it. Oh, looks like I got a fish at the bottom here. He was back on it with a fury. And at that moment, I knew it was definitely a pike. I don't think I've seen any other fish that act the same way. They're like, I was just on the hook and almost got pulled through a hole. However, I still want to bite that thing. I'm not sure, Darren, what do women in pools have in common? Oh, God. Well, there you go. Oh, I had a bump. Hopefully I didn't just steal my salty. Oops. Has anybody caught many mud puppies this year? I don't think there's one year where I saw a few of them, But this year I haven't seen many. I feel like whoever was down there stole my salted minnow. Salted minnow still on. So I'm probably only going to fish for a few more minutes here because it's getting on in the night. What am I hooked on here? Sorry. Feels like my lure is not going down the hole. All right. The lure is down. So, anyone else who has a Striker 4 out there, do you have like the official ice fishing sensor? because I just have my regular sensor sort of rigged up with float, which is the way it came, and it works fairly well. But sometimes I feel like it, like right now, it just doesn't want to sit straight. Have fun there, Mr. Brick Boy. Fred, thank you for the compliment on the drone footage. That drone actually has all these nifty functions that I'm still trying to figure out, and I feel like there's going to be even more exciting stuff in the future that I'll be able to do with it. That was the first time I took it out. It was very windy, and all the footage was sort of very shaky. But that day, it was actually a nice calm day, and so it got some real nice footage, and I got to see. I flew it further than I could see it. I mean, it's tiny, but there's all these different functions that it does that I look forward to testing out in the future. That was really, I really have barely been flying drones at all. So, or that was the second time I've ever flown one. So I guess it goes to show you how sort of user friendly they are, or at least that particular drone. But I'm looking forward to taking some great shots in the future. Nick Bruce. I have a dinner bell on as we speak. I got a minnow chunk on there. Yeah, there's something about those mud puppies. They're just weird looking. Like they look like they should be, or they came out of like a jar where they pickle like pig fetuses or something. Yet they're alive. They're pretty wild looking. So you figure those are herrings, Ken? There, is it just below the ice? Those herring are interesting fish. I can tell you that much. They always seem to be cruising around. And what's interesting is that the herring on Simcoe, they all seem to be sort of like the size of the herrings you might catch. Like, I guess they're a decent size, but when you catch a herring on Nipissing here, they're kind of a deal. They're like a 2-pound fish with lots of spunk. They're really big. All right, looks like I got a fish down here. Can I coax him with a salty minnow? It's right on the bottom. Oh. You know, maybe this is a mud puppy actually. Oh, he's down there. Come on. Go for it. I haven't caught any ling yet this year. But to be honest with you, all the fishing I've done has almost been exclusively during these live streams. So so I haven't had a lot of time for, putting into a lot of fishing. Twitch my live bait here for a second. Just to see. Feels like there's still a minnow on there. Now it seems like a strange thing to be able to detect a minnow without looking, but they seem to put a little bit more pull on your line than just a straight jig. Yeah, I've switched lures a few times, Nick, but the the dinner bell was the latest switch, and I caught a decent perch on it already. The herrings are good smoked. Is that what you're saying, Lawrence? Or are we talking about lings, burbits? See, I've actually found that when I did clean herring from here, that they had this cucumber smelling flesh, and it was actually quite delicious to eat. However, they also had some of the craziest worms I've ever seen in any fish I've ever cleaned. Like long stringy worms in the flesh, and I have not seen that before. Yeah, Ken, I do feel like the season goes too fast. And I am already being like, I've already begun to be sad about the ending of the ice fishing season. However, we'll have some fun in the summer while we're waiting for that ice to come back. I like swimming, so I look forward to swimming in the summer. I also like archery. So I'll be doing a lot of archery in the summer. Last year actually, I don't even think I went to my archery range. I didn't even join the membership that year. I'll make a point not to do that, or to make sure I do it this year though. It's really a fun thing. It's very zen, if you will. Yeah. I wonder if you could keep a mud puppy as a pet, how long it would live. I assume they're somewhat primitive, I guess. I would assume they're pretty adaptable. Fred, when you say try any axes, is that a lure? And if so, tell me about it. I might try. I don't have a lot of time left here. Let's say we got 10 minutes. I'm going to put on a big noisy rattler because I want to see if I can rattle anything in. It's come down to the end of the game for today. I'm going to be taking my son fishing tomorrow, though. That's my plan. He definitely was talking about going fishing, but when he was feeling sick, I wasn't sure. Some people, they're always like, when you're sick, you should hide in the house until you feel better. Sometimes I feel like maybe getting some fresh air and going for long walks and whatnot is better for you than hiding out. But I guess that's me. So I was thinking, you got a fever? Time to stand in the cold breeze, help cool you down. Maybe that's not doctor approved. All right, so I'm putting down this Rapella rattler. It's funny, I haven't used these much this year, like that particular kind, but I've had lots of luck with them over the years. Throwing axes. My buddy set up like an axe throwing target thing in his yard. And to be honest with you, I did take up, or throughout my youth, I definitely have thrown, tried to figure out how to throw axes properly with some success. So it looks like I got a fish looking here. Come on, do it. Do it. Bite it. just going to let this thing sit. Is that a bump? Yeah. It's always wild when you get extreme weather out. It's okay if you got a hut, you know? But the winds, when you have pop-ups and whatnot, the winds don't help you at all. And even in certain... I was out on Saturday when it was pretty windy with my son and my brother. And we definitely were getting the wind treatment. And the wind starts blowing up through the holes, you know? Yeah. You'll be happy to know, Darren, that I did indeed chip out my pop-up hut. It's been a few weeks now. And I still need to bring that thing inside and let it defrost in my bathtub because it's pretty iced up. But with my dad coming up next week, I plan on setting it up a bit. One thing, my brother and I set up his pop-up on the Temagami area lake we were at there. We sort of set it up so the skirt was just below the soft snow, but not into the slush. And then we also managed to use these foam pads to like pat down the slush so that we could actually stand on top of it without getting into it. Because at first my brother was like, "Oh, shovel out all the snow down there," and I'm like, "Dude, we're gonna be standing in like 6 inches of water if we do that." And he, well, then I tried patting it down with the pads, and it worked. So that's what we'll do in the future. Thanks, Nick. I'm probably gonna sit here until 6:55, and then I'm gonna roll too. Gotta go get some dinner going, see how the boys holding up. Sometimes that's what you gotta do, Rob. In my case, I don't have a garage or anything that I can use to defrost things, so it's gotta be the bathtub. The trouble is that particular tent is so big, and I gotta rip it through my apartment. Pull it through my apartment, I'll be dropping snow and ice all over the place, and then finally get it into the bathtub. Yeah, you know what, Darren? I was thinking about that. I might actually just try to put that hut out in the elements a little bit and let it like stand it up so it drains off and let the rain do its bidding. I definitely can tell you that I'm a little bit surprised at the +7 forecast and rain that's coming. And it doesn't, like, it seems like next week's going to be warm, but that's just really something, you know? Yeah, Ken, I don't work on Thursdays and Fridays, so I don't have to worry about going to work. But yeah, the switchover it's a weird game, the nights. Working the nights is a strange way to live. And yeah, having to switch back, and I do switch back. And basically on my last night, you know, it's like I come home, go to sleep, wake up for like 4 hours, then go to sleep again. And that's how I switch. And then I live a regular daytime life for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then back to it. I tell you, the first night shift is just brutal. You're just it's hard getting adjusted to it again. It's like my bells are ringing a little bit here. I'm just gonna play the line there for a second. Wow. A frozen solid pike come back to life in a bathtub, huh? Thanks, Fred. You have a good night too, buddy. So I got 1 more minute. So I'm gonna really jig this hard. So that wasn't too bad. Was that 4 perch or 3 perch? I feel like it was 4. Could have been 3. But that's better than 0. Oh. Come on, fish. Just one more fish make an appearance. All right. It's like my bell's ringing, but it's probably my minnow freaking out, but it's probably freaking out because there's something down there. Oh, come on. Come on. There's a fish down there. Sorry, it's hard for me to stop the live stream when there's a fish down there. That's just me ringing the bell, just jigging it a little bit. Come on, fish. One more fish. Thanks, Darn. Yeah, you know what? Chris, welcome to the very end of the party, buddy. Good to see you again, though. That was fun dropping in, doing that interview. Hope you guys had a blast that night. All right, well, it looks like this fish isn't going to bite. So I'm going to wrap it up and head home and eat some dinner. So thanks everybody for coming out. Hope everybody enjoyed this chilling out with the Coke machine. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you can. Excuse me, I keep burping here. Sure, my bells start ringing a little bit again. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. So have a great night, everybody.